Okay, so this is our hand video. Here we have two hands. We have a left hand and a right hand, and this is both in the palm view like we can see here. I like the palm view because we can see all of our first group of bones called the carpals. We can see all 8 of them here. We will go ahead and talk about the right hand first, and then we'll review the bones on the left hand. So we have 3 groups of bones in the hand, similar to the foot. The first group of bones, which are wrist bones right here, these 8 bones are called carpal bones. After that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metacarpal bones. These are referred to as hand bones, and they would actually sit just like this in my hand. So metacarpals would be in this place here. Carpals would be up here in the wrist. And then beyond the 5 metacarpals, we're going to have digit bones called phalanges, just like we do in the foot. So to start with, we will begin over here at digit 1, which is the thumb. And then we have 2 rows of carpal bones. We have a proximal row that starts with this bone right here, which is the scaphoid that's tagged blue. It goes over scaphoid, lunate is number 2. Triquetrum, which sits right underneath here, and then that's number 3. And then number 4, the pisiform, sits on top of it on the anterior or palm side. Then to go through number 5, 6, 7, and 8, we come back to digit 1 on the thumb side. We see right here at the base of metacarpal 1, we have the carpal number 5, which is triquetrum. Then right sandwiched in here next to it is carpal number 6, which is at the base of metacarpal number 2. That's called the trapezoid. Then right next to it, we have what's called the capitate, which is at the base of metacarpal 3. And then here at the base of metacarpal 4 and 5, we have this larger bone called the hamate. And we can see on the hamate that it actually has, it's tagged green, and we can see that it has this hook that comes off here that kind of comes right up by the pisiform, which is carpal number 4. I like always showing the hand in the palm position because that's our anatomical position. And the other reason is if we turn this hand over, we can see scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, but we hide pisiform, okay? Then the other thing I want to bring up before we move on to the metacarpals is that when you look at this, a lot of times people want to take scaphoid, which is number 1, and name it scaphoid down here, which is trapezium. Scaphoid, or the proximal row of carpal bones, do not touch the base of the metacarpals. Okay, so moving on, we have 5 metacarpals starting at digit 1 or the thumb. That's metacarpal 1, metacarpal 2, metacarpal 3, metacarpal 4, metacarpal 5. Then beyond that, we go down to the digits, which are the phalanges. In the phalanges, each digit 1 through 5 is going to have a proximal phalanx, which we can see here. Then digits 1 through 5 are going to have distal phalanges or phalanxes. So we have distal right here at the end. And then digits 2 through 5 are going to be the only ones with the middle phalanx, which we can see right here. And the middle phalanx of digit 4 has actually been tagged in red right here. Okay. Now the other thing we want to talk about when we get into the phalanges are the joints. On digits 2 through 5, we have what's called a proximal interphalangeal joint between the proximal and middle phalanx. So that would be the proximal interphalangeal joint right here. And then on digits 2 through 5, we have a distal interphalangeal joint, which is between the middle and the distal phalanx right here. I can see those there. And then on digit 1, since we only have a proximal and a distal interphalangeal joint, proximal and distal phalanx, we just have an interphalangeal joint right here. Then the last joint we want to talk about is between the metacarpals and the proximal phalanx. This right here is called the metacarpal phalangeal joints, which are, when we turn our hand over and look at it this way and we make a fist, those are our big knuckles right through there, the metacarpal phalangeal joints. Okay. Now, if we look on the left hand, it's a mirror image of the right. We have scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, which is red, pisiform here. Come back over to the thumb, the blue is the trapezium, trapezoid, green for capitate, and here's the hamate. Metacarpals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Metacarpal 3 is tagged in orange. We have the proximal phalanx of digits 1 through 5. We have the middle phalanx of digits 2 through 5. And then we have the distal phalanx or phalanges of digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that takes us through our hand.